Hey guys, welcome back to Cody Tarot. I'm your tarot reader, Cody. So I'm doing a little bit of a different format today. I figured I'd show my face, just bring that out there. And sometimes it's easier for me to read when I'm like face to face with the camera. I can like see what I'm doing and like you guys can see more expressions and hand movements and stuff like that. So we'll try this out. Let me know if you guys like this or if you like the old way, because I know a lot of people like the old way, or not, I wouldn't say the old way, but people like the other way because they can see the cards and they feel more connected to the cards. But then some people like the face-to-face better because of the human emotional kind of connection. So just let me know what you guys prefer. I'll probably go back and forth doing doing one of these every once in a while, just because it's just for me, like to switch it up and do something different. All right, so we have, interestingly enough, I was shuffling these Oracles of the Seven Energies cards for our indicators today instead of using crystals. And the numbers that came out were 8, 10, 12, and 14, which I thought was very interesting. It was consecutive and they were all even numbers. And today's reading is going to be a 5-year into the future, look into the future. We're going to be covering a little bit of how you're going to get to that future. And then also when you're at that future, like what you'll be achieving, where you'll be at. We're going to pull a love card and a career card to see what's going on with your love and your finances. And then also I have these magical spell cards, which is just going to add a little extra touch to the end as far as little things that are coming through, little manifestations or spell work or anything like that, if you guys are working on anything like that. We're going to have some general themes. It's going to be a good reading. So I'm going to cut to a picture of these cards so you guys can choose, and then we will get into the reading with the first group, Into Me I See. Hey everyone, here's the cards for the selection to choose from. So we don't have crystals today, but let me show you all the cards. So for group 1, we have Into Me I See. For group 2, we have Close Encounters. For group 3, we have Bearing Fruit. In group 4, we have Beautiful Uncaging. So whatever card pile is standing out to you the most, you can base it off pictures, you can base it off the words that you see below. You can even base it off the numbers. We have 8, 10, 12, and 14. Yeah, so I'll give you a moment to choose your card, and then we will move right into the reading with Group 1, Into Me I See. Hello, Group 1. This is if you picked the Into Me I See. I don't know if you guys can see that card, but it's Into Me I See. There's a picture of like a woman, and she has kind of like these feathers kind of surrounding her crown chakra, and she's looking down onto the floor where there's some flowers. So if you pick that pile, this will be your reading. Okay, so I'm going through the first couple stepping stones into where that are gonna lead you into the future of the 5 years, in 5 years' time. First card we have is Emotions Are Running High, Supermoon. And then we have Communication is Key, New Moon, and Gemini. We're going to pull some tarot cards. Okay. Wow, okay. Okay, that's going to be for the next part of the reading. I'll just pull the moon card now since we're already there. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. So let's get into it. So first what we see here, we have emotions are running high. You also have the Ace of Cups reversed. the Eight of Wands reversed, and the Lovers upright. So what's going on here? Let's see. So emotions are running high in Ace of Cups reversed. We have a very interesting thing that you're going through right now. It looks as if like there is an element of like your emotions being blocked, but them also being on like amplified. So you're having like these two opposing forces happening at this given point in your life. So you have on one hand, like your emotions want to flow out and just kind of like go like crazy on the world. Like you just want to kind of release them. But at the same time, there's like blocks. You don't know like how to like express them, I guess is the best way to put it. You're not quite sure how to express those emotions. There's also a sign that the first thing that pops up with this card for me is I figured that you guys are going through a breakup, or there's kind of some kind of emotional letdown happening right now, something that happened that you kind of had to let go of. Aces upright can signify beginnings or like new sparks of new ideas. And then if you think about an ace in reverse, it represents kind of like something like not working out. So this could have been something like a new project or something that you kind of just barely touched upon, but it's not working out in your favor right now. And it's kind of causing like this weird emotional dynamic with yourself. And kind of like trying to like figure that out. Now I have good news, because as you progress into your future, through the next like couple years, like 3 or 4 years, we have like with the eight of Wands reverse, this is basically just indicating that the universe is not quite giving you like what you want. They're gonna give you something different. But I'm happy to say with the Lovers reverse, the Lovers is like such a good card. This is like true love. This is kind of like that passionate romantic connection where you can truly reveal yourself to the other person and the other person can reveal themselves to you. So I do see that even if you feel like a little stunted in your emotional development at this point, or the fact that you can't express those emotions right now, in a couple years from now, you're going to really find that kind of relationship, and you're going to be able to express those emotions pretty freely. One thing I see here with communication is key, new moon in Gemini, and we also have the Lovers, which kind of represents Gemini as well. There is going to be an element, and also with the Eight of Wands reversed, there's going to be like this breakthrough with communication. So you're going to get into this relationship with this person, and there's going to be like this element of like finally being able to say what you've wanted to say for so long, with just anyone really. Like you are looking for that right person to kind of say and bear your soul or just reveal your true self. And I'm seeing that you find that person and that you have this great, amazing communication with them. And especially because it's a new moon, it's like a beginning sign. So what we see here with this is that this relationship is going to feel new, like a breath of fresh air, and the communication is going to flow effortlessly. It's much, much different than when you start off when you're coming into this year, your current state where you're kind of dealing with like these kind of like intense feelings and emotions. You have kind of like a full moon where it's like everything's peaking, and I do see it kind of being chaotic for you right now, where you have like kind of the Ace of Cups in reverse with the emotions are running high. But I do see that kind of like, in a way, it's going to be interesting. I see that you're going to be surprised by this kind of like situation or person that comes into your life. It's not going to be what you were, I wouldn't say it's not going to be what you were expecting. It's not going to be kind of like what you were manifesting. It's like the universe is intervening and giving you something that's like better than what you wanted. So it's almost like something falls through and there's kind of like delays for the next kind of year or two, but then the universe really kicks in and just starts giving you everything you want. So that's like year 3, year 4. The universe is just blasting you with like the thing you want, which looks like as if it's going to be a relationship, like a really nice, compatible relationship. All right, so let's get into we have like for year 5, the climax of the year, we have a personal issue reaches resolution, and the 9 of Wands reversed. I'm definitely seeing there's going to be a lot of healing kind of coming up with when it comes to year 5 and like the peak of this in 5 years from now. So I would not think of this reading as like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 5 years is the end goal, because the end goal can happen kind of anywhere, and then you kind of begin again. It's like the journey of tarot where, you end with the world and you start over with the Fool again, and it just goes through it again. What I'm seeing here is that you're in the process of healing some things in year 5. So there is like a sense of a peak when you meet this person in year 3. So you do have a lot of good things coming to you in year 3. Year 5, you're doing some shadow work, and you're healing yourself. You're healing like different aspects to your personality and different things that have been like kind of bugging you throughout the years. Like, let me see if I can get more information on that, because I'm going to pull a couple more cards for the very end of the year. So let's just pull these more cards. Oh, interesting. We pulled the safe travel card. And we're going to pull a Wisdom of the Oracle card. Feeling the bottom of this deck for some reason. Let's see. And we have the regeneration card. So that matches up with the healing, the personal issue reaches resolution. This means that like the healing's not only going to be stuff that you're just kind of like a general healing, but this is going to be like a new being coming to light. Like this is going to be like you kind of going through a transformation process on top of healing. So this healing is leading to this kind of transformation. Kind of like, when you look at this card, there's like a tree, and then it's like right above like lava. So if you think about this, it's like the land around this tree is kind of like hostile or like hot or uninhabitable, but there's this one tree growing in this like kind of uninhabitable land. And I'm kind of getting that vibe here with the 9 of Wands reversed, like this guy being kind of like battered or like bandaged. I mean, it is in reverse, so I definitely see this like sense of new hope coming through. We'll get into career and love in a second. But yeah, with safe travel, it says, keep me safe and let me roam far away, but bring me home. So there is this cool thing where I think that like you're going to be healing through experiences, which is very, very cool. Like as you kind of like deal with these personal issues or heal yourself, you're going to be healing through experiences. So you might like take a trip across your country, or maybe even just an hour away from your house, and you explore a little bit. Maybe you go with your friend, maybe you go with this new relationship that comes in. And I definitely see you through like gaining different experiences and like seeing the world, like a sense of healing through that. Yeah, I'm getting this sense that your home life in 5 years is like, it's not hostile, it's just that there's a lot of like, with this regeneration card and the lava surrounding this tree, I'm definitely seeing that there is this element where it's like your home life is like hostile, but it's not like affecting you, if that makes sense. Like it's just, you're doing some traveling to get away, to like get a different sense of perspective. So you're kind of healing through perspective. It's like being stuck in your own town or your own city is kind of like limiting your beliefs. And what we're seeing here with the personal issue reaches resolution, you're just going to be naturally called to travel to different places to kind of gain new experiences and see perspectives from places other than where you live or where you are. Yeah. So let's look into love. We kind of already know with the Lover's card, but I'm going to pull another love card and see what is brought up. We have freedom. Yeah, I'm definitely sensing with this freedom card, and we have the birds coming out of the cage. There is this element where you will be like branching out of your cage, or kind of like what's confining you. So with the regeneration card, the lava surrounding the tree, think of kind of like, like, you know that, I don't know if you've ever played that game. We played this game when I was little where it was called like the floor is lava, and you have to hop from like object to object in the room, but you can't touch the floor. It's in a way, it's kind of like that, like your environment around you and where you live in 5 years from now, there's just kind of like an intensity in that area. And you kind of have to like watch your step kind of carefully. It's habitable, like you're definitely growing strong and like true in that environment. And in a way, I'm thinking it's good for you because you do have a lot of this healing. You are stimulated to move, but this freedom is really a sense of like, you're just able to go whenever you want. Like, you're not tied down. So if you're in a situation right now where you're like tied down and you're kind of not able to move as quickly as you want out of a situation, or you're trying to do something different or new, what I'm seeing in 5 years from now is you're going to have that freedom. That could be represented by like financial freedom to travel and do whatever you want as far as like traveling and going places. But there is this sense of freedom being let out of your cage. And I definitely see that that's also going to be part of like your healing process. So it is going to be important for you to go through with this in 5 years, because when you're coming to this place, it's interesting. We had supermoon, emotions are running high, which is a full moon, and then you have communications key, which is a new moon, and then full moon in Cancer, a personal issue reaches resolution. You have this like cyclical movements between the moons, like a full moon, a new moon, and a full moon again. So you might find yourself in 5 years from now, weirdly in a very similar place to you are now, but like completely different at the same time, because you're not going to have those blocked emotions. You're going to have that like freedom to fly, freedom to go in like to pretty much wherever you need to go to like heal. So whatever places like kind of like strike your fancy, you can kind of travel there and go there. You'll have the ability to travel and get what you need from areas outside of that home, like, or closer to home environment. Yeah. Let's pull the last card with the career card, and we'll just get a little information on career. A halt. It says money has come to a complete halt, or money is slow in coming in. Don't borrow more than you can repay. Debt might be piling up. So we do see in your finances in the 5 years from now. 5 years from now, while you're traveling, you're definitely going to want to save money for this, for these trips. Because what I'm seeing in 5 years from now, it's like the money is going to be slow coming in. That's not to say right now in your life the money's slow. In fact, it could mean that like right now you actually are receiving more money than you're like normal actually. But what I'm seeing here is that like in 5 years it's going to start to slow down, and it's kind of in conjunction with the traveling, which is kind of unfortunate. But you are going to have the resources to travel. We did get the freedom card. We do have the safe travel card. You will be allowed to do that. The universe has your best intentions in mind, and it wants you to do this to heal. It wants you to kind of like branch out and kind of like go to different places and new places and kind of learn and experience and heal parts of yourself that you didn't really know needed healing. But yeah, and it's so interesting because we have both of these cards, right? And they both have bird cages on them. I don't know if you can see that. One, the bird is flying free, and the other one, there's a dollar bill in a cage. So this cage metaphor might be like very important for you as far as like feeling like caged up. I'm definitely seeing with the freedom and the halt that with this money thing, there is the sense that you will be free from like your desire for money. And that might sound strange, it may, especially if you like are focused on money, but there is an element where you're gonna know that you don't need as much money as you need now to survive, and you kind of make do with your resources like in your environment. So as far as like traveling and freedom go, somehow you make it work even though you might not have the exact finances to make it work. There is this element that it will happen and it will get done. But with the double cages, it's a very interesting sign, the fact that there's two cages here. And it just makes me think that like you're not letting the money limit you. Like these birds right here are flying out of the cage and the money's still in the cage. So it makes me think that you're leaving it behind, that you're actually leaving behind this like idea of money and the idea that money can halt you or slow you down. Even though it might not be coming in, you're kind of like, forget it. Like I've tried to work and manifest money before, but I'm just like, I'm getting what I'm getting and that's it. And I'm just going to keep moving on. You know, like I have this healing I got to do and I'm just going to do it. So I'm definitely seeing that. So yeah, that was your reading if you picked the Into Me I See card. Yeah, it was really fun reading for you guys. If you like the reading, you can like or comment below. If you really like the reading, you subscribe to my channel. I post pick cards like this pretty frequently. With that said, oh yeah, I have to say once every 1 to 2 weeks because that's legit like when I will be posting. But like lately it's been once every week, so that's pretty good. Anyway, yeah, so I really enjoyed reading for you guys. It was a really fun read. I really like this 5-year healing travel thing going on. Like that's gonna feel very liberating. Like I can just imagine it feeling like there's a lot of release. Like with that freedom card with the bird flying out of the cage, there's just a lot of this like release coming in for you guys. Cool. We're gonna move on now to group number 2 with the Close Encounters card. Hey group 2, this is if you picked the Close Encounters card, and this is a card of like a butterfly in a cage, and then there's another butterfly like landing on the top of the cage. So it's almost as if these butterflies can like barely meet, but they're not quite getting there. So let's get into your reading. So first what we're going to start off with is the build up to the 5-year mark, where we're going to get into the 5 years and where you'll be at in 5 years. But for now, we're going to start with the build up. So give me one moment. Sorry, it's getting very hot in my house and I have the air on, but like this part of the house doesn't get air that easily. So I had to turn the air conditioning on. So that's going to be kind of noisy, but I need it because it's summer where I live and it's hot. I think the temperature is almost like 100 every day. Okay, so what are they gonna be in group 2? Where's group 2? These cards are like, they're giving me like little hints, but nothing's like actually flipping out. There we go. Yeah, I guess I'll point out what cards were like showing up. It's like oh, there goes one. I'm gonna take these 2 that landed on the floor. Yeah, the card that flipped out of the deck that I saw briefly, I saw the Death card reversed and the Emperor card upright. So if that's significant to you guys, then I will let you guys know those cards. However, they flipped right back in, so I'm not considering them in the reading. But if that means something to you, I'll let you have those to work with. Oh, that's an interesting combination right there. Okay, so, and then I'm gonna pull ones for the future just because the last group got those at this time as well. This is the one I saw. And we'll pull a Moonology card. So these cards that I'm putting on this side of the table are going to be for the 5-year mark, when you guys like hit 5 years, where what it will be like, life will be like in 5 years from now. Oh, this is very interesting. I'm gonna take this one too. I'm pulling 2 cards for this future because it flipped out and I'm feeling it. Okay, so let's get into your reading. Currently, right now in your life, there's a person, someone that's probably like roughly your age, because we have the Knight of Cups here, but that might not be relevant to you guys. But definitely there's a person from your past coming in, and they're bringing a message with them, and it's going to be kind of like an offer. Like there's a person coming in right now, at least in year one, where someone's coming in from your past and they're bringing you this kind of like offer. They're kind of like offering you this cup, like this Knight of Cups right here. And you're being encouraged with don't let your past hold you back in South Node, to continue moving forward and to not let this particular offer like tie you down, because this is going to be an offer of something that you've done before. This could be job related, but because it's a cup card, I'm definitely seeing it as more like romantic or emotional commitments related, but it could be a job for some of you. But definitely there's this element that like someone's coming in with an offer and it's gonna like pull you back. It's gonna pull you back into like your comfort zone, like who you've always been. It could be something that's like easy for you to do, but in order for growth to happen, the cards are encouraging you to like kind of step out of that. Because what we do see in 5 years from now with step out of your comfort zone, that there's kind of like this element that like you are going in this direction no matter what. Like you will be stepping out of this comfortable position. It's just a matter of like how long. And I know that's hard to say because it's like a 5-year reading. Like we want everything to end at like 5 years. But what I'm seeing is like you'll get this kind of thing in 5 years if you kind of don't let your past hold you back. There's going to be this offer coming in, but it's not going to be like worth taking, basically. And then we have this interesting thing where we have the Wheel of Fortune. So about like year 1.5, year 2, you're going to have a lot of good luck. And it's interesting because we also have the Devil here. Yeah, I'm definitely seeing, this is very interesting because what I'm seeing is like with this luck, you're going to have a lot of confidence. And this confidence is going to make you feel kind of like invincible, right? And with the Devil upright, there's an element of like focusing on like sensorial pleasures and kind of like coming into your own as far as like your Devil's like Capricorn energy. So you have like that practical side, but at the same time, there's this element of like being chained or tied to these elements in your life. Be bold and make the first move. It's kind of like encouraging you to like jump into the sensory world. Like even if it's kind of like throwing you into it, right? It's kind of like this trial through fire. We definitely see some fire on this Devil card, where the two people are chained up. And that's kind of a weird suggestion. Like most readers wouldn't tell you that, but I'm definitely seeing that like letting go and kind of like relaxing and like giving into certain pleasures or temptations in this good luck period is actually going to be good for you in the long run. It's going to kind of like cycle you out of this kind of like thing that's holding you back. With be bold and make the first move, I'm definitely seeing that like people in your environment in like a couple years from now are not going to be like in this state of mind. Like people that you're connected with I'm sensing a lot of like serious purpose. And like with the Wheel of Fortune happening for you, I'm definitely seeing that like you're kind of like this catalyst of like a current, like a whirlpool or something, or a tornado. And you're kind of coming into this environment and you're kind of shaking things up. I definitely see you being the catalyst for a lot of change, and you're gonna be flirting with Devil energy. And in tarot, that just means you're flirting with like the sensual side of life. So like this could be like lusty, like lustful connections. This could be flirting with things that are like kind of bad for you, but at the same time are fun, like partying type things. It's about like giving into pleasure. And that's kind of what we're seeing here. And be bold to make the first move is like, it's important for you to kind of like help other people with this kind of thing, and like kind of like pleasure seeking kind of like elements. Yeah, I definitely see that like with step out of your comfort zone and expect powerful change. I'm gonna need to pull a little bit more cards just to see what they're talking about, because the leap from this to this is just so separate. So let me pull some more cards. And it's interesting you picked the Close Encounters card. Okay. Imagine. Okay, so, and then also Exchanging Gifts popped out in reverse. So what I'm taking with Imagine, this is going to be one of those things where there is this like purging of like kind of like the like reality of life. There's kind of like you're being thrown into this storm where you're kind of going to be exploring and like partying and having fun, and this could be like this could be like basic partying from like pizza parties and like drinking soda to like this, you know, it could go into like other things too, like maybe like you flirt around with drinking a little bit of alcohol every once in a while if you're of age and stuff. But there's definitely like a sense of like getting into the party scene and kind of like getting into the areas where you're kind of like, I guess the best way to put it is, especially with these people with these chains around them, I definitely seen you like flirting with the devil, but not getting too carried away. Like it's still a heavy experience, you know, the devil's kind of like a heavy experience in general. With Imagine, I definitely see that this spurs you into kind of like this imaginative mindset. Somehow kind of like this letting loose and like letting your body go, letting like your desires unfold and your body go, and kind of like there's a lot of letting go, right? Like letting go of like this offer that's coming in for you, and then also letting into like all of these like things in life. Like with the Wheel of Fortune, this is definitely a card that's like a very unpredictable card. So there is this element of like letting go and letting the wheel take you and just letting it kind of like, it's kind of like you're going to be like just thrown into this wheel, it's going to spin around, and it's going to dump you out, and you're going to be somewhere you didn't even start at, you know? So, and interestingly enough, the recovery process is this imagining, right? So when all said and done and the partying's all said and done in like 3 years from now or 4 years from now, with this Imagine card, there's going to be a lot of like introspection. There's going to be a lot of like different stories being told, like imaginative stories being told. So like creating like desires from your imagination. And it makes sense, we got the Queen of Wands here too. And that's the card that's coming in for your 5 years, right? So this is really stimulating. What you're coming into 5 years from now is you're going to have a new mindset. You're going to have like an imagination that's kind of like, it's grown, I guess is the best way to put it. Your imagination has grown, and you're just going to be a more imaginative person. I guess that's the best way to put it. This card can link to like manifesting and intuition and all of that good jazz. But with step out of your comfort zone, this is really where you're coming into. It's like you've always wanted to kind of be kind of like more of a cerebral person, or someone who has more of like an intuitive mindset or imaginative mindset, and let your kind of daydreams carry you away. And what we see here is that you're really coming into that. And with this Queen of Wands energy, kind of like the partying scene that you went through, it's going to solidify into this Queen of Wands energy, and you're going to kind of get into this like leadership mentality. We also have expect powerful change here, new moon eclipse, and step out of your comfort zone. So this is something you kind of are growing into, and it's almost like with North Node and South Node, North Node's kind of like the node where you want to go. It's like the direction you want to go, and South Node's where you want to move away from. So it's interesting, South Node came up in the past and North Node in the future, because quite literally in astrology, you want to move toward your North Node. Let's see, let's pull some, I want to pull this card actually, the magical spell cards, and see what we have here. What is coming up for group 2 5 years from now? Yeah, because there's some big changes are coming in for you in 5 years from now. But it's really like, it's definitely like psychological change. Like what we have here, we have, yeah, the cards we got were Dream Sweet. Okay, so Dream Sweet, Sleep Deep. And that says, sleep that's deep and lasts till morn, wondrous dreams for days reborn. And then we also have Psychic Protection. And it says, around me now a shield of gold, protecting me strong and bold. So there's definitely this element where you guys are going to have like such a strong imagination that like your dream life is going to be very active. So what you're manifesting in 5 years from now is like a really active dream life, or kind of like a cerebral activity. So your inner world's going to be fully rich and vibrant and filled with colors. and dream schemes and like worlds and like characters, and you're really going to be stimulating your imagination. And it's kind of this trial through fire kind of mentality, right? It all starts with this offer. Kind of not taking this offer kind of spirals you into this kind of like thing of good luck for about a couple years. And it's interesting, you're like flirting with not really disaster. It's not the tower. It's not like your mindset is shifting. It's more like the devil. It's more like flirting with sin, like flirting with pleasures, like maybe a lusty rendezvous here, or like a night of drinking over here. It's like you're kind of flirting with like the darker side of yourself and in your life kind of. And so in 5 years from now, you kind of come out as this like powerful leader, like imaginative, in tune person. And with the Queen of Wands, I'm definitely seeing that this imagination is going to come out and burst. Like you're going to start sharing it with people. Okay, let's see what's going on with love. Okay. We have differences in reverse. It's interesting. Differences, there's these two burnt out matches. And so with this, I'm definitely seeing that like if you are in a relationship right now, or you like say you're not in a relationship right now and you do get into a relationship right now, in 5 years from now, the differences between you two are going to be like amplified. But because it's in reverse, I see this as like a positive thing. Like differences with the burnout matches, it's kind of like both partners are burnt out. Like you've reached the end of like growing with each other. Like one partner grew to this point and the other partner grew to this point. And it's like the relationships kind of, it reminds me of the relationship kind of like burning out, or both people being burnt out on either end. So there might be this element of like burnout with your relationships, or like in your love life, there might be this element of being burnt out, which could indicate that probably with the devil and the wheel of fortune over here, that there could have been this element of like rendezvous, like romantic rendezvous with people, and you're just like tired of like romance and dating and all that kind of stuff. You're just like, I want away from it. I don't want it anymore. Like, I just want to like kind of like deal with myself. It's like I'm too different from these people. So I'm definitely seeing you have this kind of like separation from love and romance in 5 years from now. But interestingly enough, leading up to there, it could be involved in this kind of like scheme with the Wheel of Fortune and the devil. Be bold and make the first move. I think you'll definitely be like in charge in those like 2 or 3 years from now, and kind of like wanting to make those romantic connections. But I definitely see with the differences card that there is this element of being burned out in 5 years from now and kind of wanting your alone time. And it makes sense with this imagination that you're going to really be growing and developing. And with psychic protection, it's like cool. It's like, if you think about like your imagination kind of like leaking out or into your environment, or like people kind of like taking it from you or draining your energy, you're going to be protected from all of that. And you're going to have like your own imaginative world that's like beautiful and like I don't know how to explain it. Like I'm getting so many signs that this inner world is going to be so vibrant in 5 years from now. So this is really good because for practical purposes, because I know this reading, some people coming to these readings want like more practical kind of like things. This could be good if you're an artist, if you're a poet, if you like read tarot, anything like that it like ignites the creative faculties. Like having this imaginative wellspring in your mind is going to be so good for those kinds of things. So if you're focusing on becoming like a singer or an artist or anything that you need to use your imagination, creative faculties, this is going to be really good for that. So especially with love, with the differences, I'm seeing that even though you're burnt out in the love sphere, like your creative side is going to be stimulated like times 10. So where you're at now with your imagination and what you think about now, your mind will be so much more active and more stimulating. Okay, and then we have stability and emotions. Okay, stability came out on top of emotions, and it's interesting. Emotions is talking about what I just spoke upon, but it's like it's saying the opposite. So it says your emotions are affecting your finances. You're paying too much attention to your love life and ignoring your career. Earn money doing something that you love, or a dream job might be offered to you. So I'm really seeing the last part like emphasized. Earn money doing something you love, or a dream job might be offered to you. There is an element that this kind of, and also with, let me get with stability too. it says excellent time to take action on any money-related ventures. So there is going to be an element where you come into this imagination. Your finances are going to be like in a state of development and growth at this point in time. They're going to be like really utilized, like you're going to be really with it in that department. And with emotions, it's basically saying that there could be an element of like a job possibility coming in. Like that's what I was talking about with the artists and the creative careers. This kind of imagination that you're developing could lead to a career that kind of like fulfills all your like needs, desires, and wishes, and kind of like it's like you're coming into that like dream job, you know, that people like kind of like once in a lifetime job, you know, that people kind of like dream about having, you know, that they maybe don't like, how do I put this? It's the job that you're like jealous of that someone else has. You're like, how can they be that successful at that? But it's, you know, like, how can they be that successful at that? How can they make that much money doing that? And it's really because it's like you have this imagination, you have this like dream, sweet sleep dream and psychic protection. You're kind of creating this well of imagination. So it could, and I'm not saying you will get this career, but I'm just saying that it says that it's an option. Like it's something that could easily stem out of this state of mind that you're achieving in 5 years from now. And definitely with stability, there is an element that your finances are going to be under control in 5 years, so you don't have to worry about that. I definitely, with the differences though, I do see that you're burned out with the love situations, right? You're just like, oh my gosh, I've had enough of that, you know? So, and that can be a good place to be in because you get a clarity on like other aspects of your life. So, you know, relationships are not the be all end all. At least in this case too. This is really emphasizing like you're getting in touch with your creative faculties, kind of like sharing a message, like whatever is going on in your mind, you're trying to share that message. And I definitely see that if you bring that out with the Queen of Wands and this emotions card, if you bring that out, it's going to be like received positively, or less like received positively and more like you will be successful at it. Like you will be successful at this kind of like, this new kind of like enterprise coming in that's based on your imagination. But I'm also seeing too that there's not a lot of emphasis on like the career or kind of like what you do with the imagination. The emphasis is on like building into this kind of mindset where you are more imaginative and you have a more stimulating inner life. And I see that you get there through this kind of like not letting like offers from your past keep you tied down to like where you've been. It's interesting. It's interesting that the Devil's on this side and then the Knight of Cups is on this side. I'm seeing the offer. It's almost like they're switched. Like, and that reminds me, it reminds me of the fact that like the offers could come from people who are seemingly like angels in your life that have the best intentions for you, but the offer would be holding you back. And you're going to know this based on your own internal compass. Like, are you doing something that felt comfortable for you in the past? Are you progressing into the future and doing something that's stepping out of your comfort zone like we have here with North Node? And the Devil kind of reminds me of the fact that like people who are seemingly devils or who might not have your best interest at heart actually could have some promising ideas. So it's going to be interesting for you guys to navigate that. So I think that you'll know based on like what is kind of stepping out of your comfort zone and coming into who you want to be versus being in your past and letting who you were kind of determining the factors in those choices that you're making. All right, well, that was your reading. If you picked group 2 with the close encounters, yeah. If you like this reading, you can like or comment below. If you really like the reading, subscribe to my channel. I post pick a cards like this pretty frequently. With that said, we're going to move on to the next group. Group number 3 with bearing fruit. Hey, group 3, this is if you picked the bearing fruit card. So if you chose this card right here. And let's get into your reading for the next 5 years. So first we're gonna be drawing some cards for the first couple, like 2 or 3 years leading up to the 5 years. So year 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we're gonna have the kind of climax of the reading, the apex of the reading with year 5 coming in. Oh, So this has been happening with all the readings today. The cards are like flipping up, like it'll be like, it'll flash me one. I'll be like, whoa, what was that card? And I'll see the card, and then a different card will pop out. So there's like an element that like, let me pull more cards. Nice build up to year 5. Okay, let's see. I'm not going to take any of these because there's 4. Okay, group 3. Group 3 for the build up to year 5. Okay, pull one more. We're going to pull one more card. This is for when year 5 comes around. Interesting. Okay, so let's get into your reading. So for the first couple cards you have, for your tarot card, you have the 4 of Wands, then you have the 2 of Wands, then you have the 9 of Swords reverse, then you have You Are Good Enough, full moon in Virgo, and you have Confidence is your key to success, new moon in Leo. Okay. Okay, so what I'm seeing for you guys, first off, with this 4 of Wands card, it just is showing me that like right now in your life, you're in a really good place. So you're not, if you came to this video and you're kind of like struggling right now, you probably picked the wrong pile, because the people who came to this reading are like in a great place. They're kind of celebrating. They're kind of, every day feels like a happy new beginning. And you're kind of in this place where you're like, with You Are Good Enough, this is not, sometimes like this comes out for me as like a reassurance card, but this is coming out very strongly with Confidence, your key to success. This is coming out to me as like the beginnings of like this new budding of yourself into being, of like your true confidence that you're going to grow into in the next couple years. So right now you have this spark, and it's probably starting really small. Everything's probably just going really well for you in your life. Like things are going really nicely. You have kind of like, with the 4 of Wands, it's like the happiness celebration card. And like it represents kind of like parties or celebrations, at least for me. Sometimes it can represent a wedding or kind of like a landmark celebration, like, you know, like a holiday that you're, you know, that's celebrated where you're from, or even like, you know, or a marriage or something like that. But with You Are Good Enough, it's this element that everything's kind of supporting you and fostering this kind of like growth and self-esteem inside you. So I'm definitely saying that if it hasn't happened already, like you're probably getting the little inclinations that good things are on their way. And I'm definitely seeing there's a lot of positivity coming in, a lot of self-esteem coming in. There's an element that like you're gonna feel valued by the people around you. And that's really cool. And then what I see coming up next is we have the 2 of Wands, which is this guy holding a world, you know, and he's like, has his 2 wands, and he's looking out over the distance. This is kind of representing planning, or kind of like the way I'm seeing it with him holding the world, it's like, what am I going to do with the world that's around me, the world that I've created? Like, where can I go with this energy? So you do have all that positivity surrounding you, and you are feeling good enough to do pretty much anything at this point. So whatever you had self-esteem issues with, or you felt like you weren't good enough to do a specific thing, or you like struggled with this specific thing that wasn't if you struggle with something that made you feel like you didn't have the abilities to do it, you're really coming into your own as far as like believing you can do this thing. This can be anything as far as like kind of like one day just feeling like, whoa, like I'm a beautiful human being, you know, or like, whoa, I'm really good at this, or like, whoa, people really admire me for this, or whoa, things are just going really easy in life. And it's kind of this nice, like the universe is giving you a breather. It's like, you know, it's like, if you've had any hard times in your life, it's giving you this breather that like things are going to be okay. There's going to be some celebrations. You're going to get your self-esteem. And interestingly enough, it's going to take a lot of stress off your shoulders. So planning this and like looking at the world that you created right now and thinking in your head, like, what am I going to do with this? Where am I going to go with this? You're in that stage in like a year or two from now. And then that kind of creates this confidence. Like, you're like, wow, I can really expand. The Two of Wands is also about expansion, just kind of like the Three of Wands, but it's more in the planning stages. So you're in the like idea stage, like where can I go with this? What can I do with this? And so with the Nine of Swords, it's almost like this stress relief. It's like, whoa, I have like the sky's the limit, isn't it? The sky is the limit. And with confidence is your key to success, there is this element that you're really going to come into your own and your own kind of confidence in like 3 years from now. And it's really going to grow and develop. 5 years from now, we have the energy is gaining momentum, and we have the Seven of Cups in reverse. Now I'm gonna need to pull more cards just to see where this energy is going. That's not enough to read off for me at this point. It's a very like vague kind of thing, so I'm pulling some more cards, and we'll see if we can get some clarity. Yeah, I'm getting a lot about confidence. We got the trust card, and wait for it. We also got the confidence card. So let's read the trust card. It says, I am safe, I am secure in love, I trust, my faith endures. Confidence says, by earth and air, water and fire, let my confidence take light, burn higher. So this is something that's really cool. Yeah, the one thing that one interpretation of the Seven of Cups is this guy, and he's kind of like paralyzed by all his desires or imaginations or things that are going on in his mind. And I definitely see you kind of like with this kind of like, there's a sense of grounding, and with energy is gaining momentum, you're like really developing that like center within you. So like basically like with confidence, this is definitely like the color orange is reminding me of the sacral chakra, but I'm really seeing root chakra energy, sacral, and then solar plexus. Like you're building from the ground up, and you're kind of like coming into your own as this really confident being. So I definitely see that in 5 years from now, as you're coming in your own as a confidence. And one thing that's happening with this confidence is it's inspiring trust in others. So it's not only the fact that you're like confident, you can walk into situations and you can kind of like own a room. It's coming into the sense that like this confidence kind of breeds trust with other people. Like the more confident you are, the more you can develop trusting, connected relationships with people. They're definitely tied in together. So let's pull a Wisdom of the Oracle card and see what else. Yeah, and we also have Truth Be Told. And it's quite interesting, the color scheme between these cards. I'm gonna hold them up, try to like hold them up all by each other. You have Truth Be Told, and you have Trust and Confidence is right there in the back. But I like that color scheme. It's that blue and orange, and that kind of color dynamic. My dad is an art teacher, and he's always telling me about like colored palettes and stuff like that. So basically with like this kind of color palette, it creates like a dynamism between it. So it's like a very high energy, a very palpable thing. And with Truth Be Told, there's like this owl, and there's like a window opening up, and there's like hearts flying out of this window. So I'm definitely seeing like there is an element of like divine love that's coming through, like a sense of like calmness about your confidence, and with the trust that you can really offer love to other people. So that's coming into the fourth chakra, the heart chakra. And there is a little bit of green in this card with the blue and the orange and the Truth Be Told card. it's making me feel like you're really kind of like, this could be like a Kundalini experience you're having in 5 years, or you're on your way to having it. Like maybe throughout these years, you're working on opening each and every chakra until you get to the crown chakra. But the energy is gaining momentum just means that like this is going to keep building. And this is kind of like, there's probably other things going on in your like 5-year plan, or like where you're gonna be in 5 years. But the most important thing the cards want you to know is that whatever's happening right now in your life, with kind of like you're starting to feel this kind of sense of like self-esteem lingering in the back of your mind, like, whoa, I'm pretty cool, aren't I? You know, it's like, as you keep developing this, it's going to really turn into this like solid backbone of self-love and confidence and like being able to trust others. It's going to develop into something really, really cool in 5 years. So be excited for that. You're really looking forward to kind of like gaining this beautiful sense of confidence. And there's definitely a sense of grounding. If you're worried about being paralyzed by thoughts, or you're having like your mind is going too many places, your mind's going to be calming down. I'm definitely seeing that coming up. So let's pull a love card and a career card. So what is going on with love for them? Yeah, this card, we have, okay, so this card flipped out, respect flipped out, but right below it, like lingering with just the word showing, we also got the trust card. So the trust is going to be really, really important, especially in the love realms. It's like, if I'm definitely seeing with love that you could find love with someone that you deeply respect or deeply admire. It's interesting because you're growing in confidence and stature. So it's almost as if this person that you're meeting is kind of like, in a way, seeing you as an equal as you like build up confidence and get up to their level. And it's not really operating that exact way. I guess that's a good way to explain it. But what's really happening, yeah, and the only reason I mention that and why it's happening like that, as I see, is because in this trust card and this respect card, two things are happening. On the one hand, with the trust card, you have someone pulling someone up from a lower position, like literally lifting them up. And on the other hand, with the respect card, you have someone who's kind of like kneeling down before someone and kind of getting under and kind of like holding their hand like they're above them, you know? So there is this element where people are going to be respecting you and you're going to be respecting others. So it's going to be like I'm definitely seeing kind of like a connection where there's an exchange of status. So like, for example, say you are coming into your own as a confident being, which you will be in 5 years. And there's people around you, like anyone that you can help up, like from a lower position. I'm seeing that you'll be able to do that. And then that will engender a deep respect for them in you. Also, I'm definitely seeing that like, if other people are like helping you up, or these people that are helping you, you're going to have a deep sense of respect for them. So this trust and respect kind of cycles around each other and kind of creates this like cool synergy for your relationships. So I'm definitely seeing that those types of relationships in 5 years from now, the ones where you're helping people and the ones where people are helping you and where you feel respect for them or they feel respect for you, based on those exchanges, those are going to be your really strongest love connections are going to come into play. That could be a partner if you're single. It could just be a solid friend group or a network of people that you really trust and respect. But I'm definitely seeing that there's like a deep, like an admiration between both parties in this love situation. And then we're going to pull some finance cards or career cards. So and we have beware. Okay, I'm seeing definitely with beware, there's one of the things that they're saying at the very end is don't make any type of financial commitments right now. And we have this image of like a fox. So definitely as you get more confident and as you're coming into your own in 5 years from now, you're gonna wanna like just be a little wary of people who are trying to take advantage of you like financially. So beware is kind of like, think of like 7 of Swords energy where people are kind of like, like trying to manipulate you. It's like, it's interesting. You'll be able to see straight through it with this truth be told card, and this card coming like with this owl opening the windows to like its insides. It's like, it's gonna seem so obvious to you, but it's kind of one of those things where it's like, you're gonna have to make a little bit of an effort to like keep these people at bay. It's interesting. Yeah, I definitely see with the trust and respect, you can respect these, you can trust and respect these people when it comes to like dealings with like money and stuff. But with beware, there are going to be some people who want to use you for like your type of like influence. They're going to assume that means that you're like well off or wealthy or have like power, and that may or may not be the case. I don't know. But it's basically just saying you want to watch out for people like this, because they could drain away your kind of finances a little bit. All right, well, that was your reading. If you like the reading, you can like or comment below. If you really like the reading, you can subscribe to my channel. I post pick-a cards like this pretty frequently, once every 1 to 2 weeks about. And I really enjoy reading for you guys. This was a really fun pile. You have a lot of good things coming for you. A lot of confidence, a lot of trust for others and from others. And with the energy is gaining momentum, it's not stopping in 5 years. You're growing into a new person, and it's going to continue to grow. It's a very long-term type of thing is what I'm seeing. Like, this confidence is going to be kind of coming in slowly but surely over the next couple years, and you're going to really be coming into your own. So that's really cool to see, and I'm glad to tell you that. So yeah, we're going to get on to the next group with group number, I think this is 4. Group number 4, the last group with Beautiful Uncaging. Hello, group 4. This is if you picked the card Beautiful Uncaging. So yeah, let's get into your reading for the next 5 years. So first I'm going to draw some tarot cards. We're going to do a little bit of a build-up from year 1, 2, 3, or 4, and then we're going to see the conclusion at 5 years and like the culmination of where you're going to be in 5 years' time. So let's get some cards for the build-up. Where are they going to be building up to in the next 5 years? That card came out for the last group, but this time it is reversed. Right there. Okay, so let's see what we have here. Interesting. Pull some numerology cards. And then pull another tarot card for the 5 years. And we'll pull a numerology card for the 5 years. Okay, so first thing with the time leading up, I'm gonna need to pull more cards for the 5-year point, and see what that when we get into it. But I'm gonna go over, just like I did with the other groups, I'm gonna go over the time leading up to the next 5 years. So right now we have like the Fool in reverse and the end of the tough cycle approaches. So I'm definitely seeing that there's an element that you've kind of been feeling like you're going backwards in life. And it's very frustrating, and I feel for you, because this is very like, like it's starting out, the reading is starting out like pretty, like very difficult. But what we have is the end of a tough cycle approaches, full moon in Capricorn. And it's going to be interesting because it's almost like your emotions are kind of like reflected in your environment. So it's like, how do I put this? If you've been going through a tough time lately, it's almost as if like you're realizing your environment is also like, is a chaos. There's also chaos in your environment. And when we have the end of a tough cycle approaches, full moon in Capricorn, it means that like the cycle is ending for you, but not necessarily for everyone else yet, right? Like think about your emotional state and kind of like your being as like kind of like think of it being like a trendsetter. Like you're kind of like this amplified thing that like kind of amplifies into your environment, but it takes some time for your environment to catch up with your state of being. So even though there's an end of a tough cycle is approaching for you, it is not ending for your environment that quickly. It's like quick as it's ending for you. It's going to take some time for it to like recover. And keeping that in mind, I'm definitely getting a lot in this reading about like personality stuff and like kind of like ideas of projection and psychological projection and like dealing with the element of like yourself versus the world around you and the reflection of that. How that phrase, the universe is just kind of like a reflection of ourselves, and we're kind of ourselves are reflected back in the universe. There's like a big lesson here that the cards are wanting me to share with you about that. But they just want you to know that like when you feel fine and like you're recovered and you're like healed, don't expect the people around you to be healed quite yet. Like there's still going to be a little bit of chaos and confusion in your environment, but you can rest assured and know that like you can kind of bring that peace and that peace of mind to them. So the Fool is kind of what's making me think that you're going backwards. I'll just show you some of the cards here. The Four of Wands makes me think that life around you is not going to be all like rainbows and butterflies and celebrations. We have Capricorn, the end of a tough cycle approaches, which means it is ending. And next we have these two cards. We have nothing is yet set in stone, and the Eight of Swords. So I see the Eight of Swords a little bit differently. Because I definitely see it as almost like a meditation card, especially in times like this. It can represent, the Eight of Swords can represent like being bound and like blindfolded and like surrounded by swords, which you think she's like imprisoned, right? Because the swords kind of do look like a jail, like they look like prison bars, but it's not exactly like that. It's kind of like, the way I'm getting it here is it's like you're going within to like meditate to calm the storm. This nothing is yet set in stone. These waters are very stormy and emotional, and there's a lot going on around you. And it's basically trying to tell you that like when you still your body, when you bind your own body, when you close your eyes, when you get in tune, and these swords are just thoughts. So you're just surrounded by thoughts that are in your head, when you're in that place, you can really project outward and kind of like calm the waters around you, right? So in a way, like in the next 2 or 3 years, you're learning how to do this. You're learning how to calm down your mind, calm down your body, and kind of like project the environment that you want to achieve in your atmosphere, and getting that into fruition. And with nothing is yet set in stone, it's an interesting reading because this is one of those piles where it's like, it's really up to you to kind of determine what you're going to do with these abilities and the future you're going to create. It's all about like kind of remaining calm and, I'm trying to figure out the reason why you feel like you're going backwards right now. It could just be a thing. Let me see. Yeah, it's almost like, especially with the Eight of Swords right here and then the Fool card, the Fool's so free-flowing and the Eight of Swords is so bound. I'm definitely seeing that there's this element of like you're in too much of like a fast-paced motion right now. And that's and you're kind of realizing that like you're kind of like just on all the time, like you're kind of going. And because of that, it's like you're realizing that's not working for you anymore, and that's why you feel like you're going backwards. You're like, I'm just keep like digging myself into the same like place, like again and again. I feel like I'm, it's not working out so well. So it's almost like there is this element that like once you kind of like recover and kind of like go within and meditate and rest and kind of like just sit with your thoughts still around you, that's when you can kind of like really calm your environment and really call in whatever you want. And I think that's what this reminder is talking to you about. It's giving you a solution to a very difficult thing. So I'm just letting you know. I'll just tell you right now, actually. Okay, so we have take time to breathe out with the Justice card reverse, right? This is really just indicating that when things are like, any time when this gets out of control in the next 5 years, and when the next 5 years comes around, it's telling you to like breathe, like inhale, exhale, and just calm your body. Like anytime you're breathing and you're conscious of your breath or in tune with your breath, you can really control the outcome of your situation. And with the Justice card reverse, this is just kind of saying that there is kind of like you could attract like, it could be like unbalanced basically, with the Justice representing like balance and like people getting their just desserts. Just through breathing and like breathing in and breathing out and calming yourself, you're rebalancing the world around you. You're putting things into place. Like if something like happened to one of your friends that was unfair or unjust, like maybe someone did something that was like really mean or cruel to one of your friends, and you're just like, why do they always keep getting into this situation? Why does my friend keep getting into this like trouble or this trauma, or they keep having this? And if you're trying to help them, like if you're in this fool energy and you're just running around like all over the place without a conscious thought, just kind of like, ooh, like not thinking through things, it's gonna like their problems are gonna continue, because they're kind of like, you have to think that people are attached to each other. Like we all are connected through different bonds to each other. And so you can literally, just by calming yourself, you're instinctively settling these kind of karmic disputes for other people. In your life, you're balancing that out. You're balancing the scales. You're balancing what needs to be balanced in your environment and making that kind of like flow in the direction that is like more natural. Justice card in reverse, like this is one of my, to be honest, this is like one of my least favorite cards. It represents being blocked, like feeling like things are against you, like feeling like things are unfair, like. And because it's right below take time to breathe out, it's just really indicating that if life does feel like this, and it's probably going to at for certain points, because I feel like you're the type of person who like, the universe is really trying to get you to learn this lesson. And so it's at the point where it's like kind of like shouting it at you now, and it's basically just saying that like, it's important to slow down. It's important to take time for yourself. It's important to just relax. And calm yourself and kind of like calm these storms. Nothing is yet set in stone means your life can go in any direction you want it to. Like it's interesting, we have a 5-year spread, but for this pile in particular, like you have a lot of like, it's like palm reading, right? Like they say that the right palm versus the left palm, if the palms are very similar in lines, right, then it's like you're very close to like your fate or your destiny. But some people have lines in their palms on like the dominant hand that like change pretty regularly, and that just means that like they're always kind of changing their fate or going against something or doing something different. So it's almost as if you are in control of your destiny, and you are the one that takes charge of things, and you are the one that controls your future, and it's really just suggesting that if you want things to settle in your environment, if you want this kind of things to feel fair again, if you want things to feel like they make sense again, that there's like justice in the world, then just breathing and meditating and taking care of your own needs is going to create that balance in your environment. It's going to bring like bounty to those around you. But let's get in. We have more of the reading to go, so I'm going to pull some cards. Let's pull a magical spell card and see what's coming in for you with this card. Yeah, we have victory and harmony. So it's exactly what I'm saying. So I'll show you these two cards. See if I can show you them both at the same time. We have victory and harmony. What better exemplifies the Justice card other than, victory and harmony? Like the Justice card is literally about what you're creating for yourself as a way to control, in a way, the outcome of events. Because this is really like showing me that like for someone like you, I probably wouldn't like focus too much on like predictive tarot readings, and more of like, I would focus more on like psychological tarot readings, like how can you develop abilities, how can you advance or grow or shadow work, stuff like that. Prediction tarot readings, like it's interesting you chose this reading, and I feel bad I'm like shutting you away from it, but your future's in more in your control than you think. And with victory and harmony, you're learning, and in 5 years from now, you're going to learn to harness that ability of like righting the wrongs of injustice. Victory says, I shall celebrate and I shall rise. I will let victory make me wise. Harmony says, as I create, I will share harmony divine with love and care. So, but basically I'm just saying that like with harmony and victory, it's like you're creating like the right conditions for the people around you, like what people really deserve, what people really need, and what people really want. You're kind of being that vessel that flows out to all the connections in your environment to create harmonious flow between everyone around you, and also to get people in like satisfying positions in life. Like you are more of an epicenter than you realize in these situations, and really like getting yourself calm and relaxed and in a meditative state, slowing down. And it's interesting, we have the instead of like the 4 of Swords, we have the 8 of Swords, which is literally like, in order to slow down, the universe is going to bind your arms and blind your eyes, like not blind your eyes, and close your eyes and blindfold you, because they want you to relax, and they want you to learn this lesson. Like you can no longer run around anymore just doing everything and for everyone. Full moon in Capricorn, especially Capricorn, it's a very hard-working energy, and it's basically with a full moon, it's saying the end of this tough cycle approaches. It's the climax. So it's like all that hard work, all that running around is going to be ending. Like that's the point, is like, and they just want to let you know that like if things don't feel harmonious right away, it's because your environment needs to catch up to you. And that's like that's one of the real things here that's like important in this reading, is for you to know, is that nothing is set in stone and you're in control. When you take care of your own needs, your environment will follow suit. So let's get one more card. Let's get the wisdom. We have a couple more cards to go through actually. So let's get the wisdom of Oracle cards. Oh, shoot. Unfinished Symphony. Yeah, let me pull some more cards. I have a feeling that this is going to relate to some of the love cards. I'm getting really passionate about this pile for some reason. It's like, I don't know, it's, I started meditating last year, so I know what it feels like to like live in chaos and then just have it go away when you finally like calm yourself down. Okay, let's draw some cards. Let's see what we have here. We have strings. It's interesting. I'm gonna pull a career card too. I'm gonna see if we can get the last. I'm doing it a little different for this pile, just because you're a different type of person. You have way more control over your destiny than you think you do. And I think you're gonna learn that. I'll take all these. I'm gonna just take this one. Offering. Okay, the finance message is a little bit separate. Let me look at this for a second. I'm gonna have to figure out what this is trying to tell me. Yeah, it's almost like with Unfinished Symphony, there's like things in your life, like if you're the conductor of your own life, it's almost like you're not following through with like, there's 2 messages here. The message I want to say is that it's okay to leave things unfinished. If something's not completely finished or you haven't gotten something done, there will always be like more things to get done, basically. And it's okay to leave the world on pause because you're not really disconnected from them. That's another message of the 8 of Swords. If you look at this card, you probably can't see it, I'm gonna pull it forward more. If you look at this card, there's a city in the background, there's a castle in the background, but she is so far away from it. She's so disconnected from this castle, but she is blindfolded and she is bound and she is psychically in tune. She has all the swords around her, reverberating around her. She can hear, the only thing that's not really bound that she can still use are her ears. She can hear this city in the distance. So even though you feel like you're disconnecting from your environment, you're really not. You're still with those people. You're still helping those people. Good things will happen to those people. So don't feel okay to like leave things kind of like by the wayside for the time being, This strings card is interesting because I'm pretty sure it means something different than what I'm seeing, but think of like everyone connected to you by a string or by different strings. And when they feel you relax, when they feel you calm down, and when they feel you get like comfortable, that reverberates through the strings and it makes everybody else comfortable. It's a beautiful thing. And look there's some distance between these two hands. The one that has the strings, it's almost like invisible strings to the other hand. And it's almost like as they pull up, the other hand rises. So it's one of those things where it's like when you rise up, others will rise up. When you feel distraught, others will feel distraught. So you have to really remember that you're kind of the epicenter of all of this kind of like stuff around you, and that it's okay to leave things unfinished for the time being to rebalance yourself. Unfinished Symphony is also a card about re-engaging too, and like finishing up things and like coming back around to things that like you have left in the past like unfinished. So it's okay to leave things unfinished, and it's okay to like come back later and finish those things. I'm definitely seeing that, with offering here, also with the career message, we have the universe will meet all your needs. Consider having a money altar. Call upon your spirit guides and angels to assist you during this time. I'm definitely seeing with offering, what we have here is there is an element that like a spiritual approach to money could benefit you quite a bit. And I'm also getting just a strong sense for also the overall reading. The universe will meet all your needs if you meet your own needs, that's kind of what's coming through very strongly. This kind of like Eight of Swords card takes on a totally different meaning when you're seeing it as a state of like relaxation, or like kind of like being like away from it all and kind of like forcing yourself to kind of quiet down and like rest. And I think the reason why it came out and not the Four of Swords, because the Four of Swords is like they're like laying down. This card's literally like, it's like they're bound. It's like almost like the universe is gonna like kind of like show you that you like kind of are required to do this. It's like a forceful push, like, like you cannot do this anymore, like relax, kind of something like that. It's not kind of like a rest that's kind of like a vacation or something that you were like just casually wanted to take. It's almost like you're forced to kind of relax in this situation. All right, so that was your reading. That was an intense one. A lot of messages coming through, a lot of strong like psychological development stuff in this reading, which was pretty cool. I like readings like that. Anyway, so if you like the reading, you can like or comment below. If you really like the reading, and subscribe to my channel. I post pick cards like this pretty frequently. And the frequency is about once every 1 to 2 weeks, just to be clear. And with that said, that was the last group and the last reading for tonight. And it's still hot in my house, so now I have to wonder if my air conditioner's working or not working. It's probably working. I'm probably just hot. Okay, so anyway, yes. See you guys later. I will talk to you on the channel in the comments, and have a good day or night whenever you're watching, and see ya in the next video.